Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnah followers, stream it every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnah followers. You just need to stay away. And you just need to stay away. Stay away today. There's a heavy price to pay. Stay away, stay away, stay away.
What do you get the piercing at? Let's talk about it.
Wait a minute. Time for the Sister Laila live show. Lines are now open. 862-370-2838. Sister Laila live. Sister Laila live. For the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live. Sister Laila. Sister Laila live, Sister Laila live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live, Sister Laila. Invite your friends and family, get cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
Oh, y'all can't hear me now? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, okay, thanks. This is Geechee, guys. She's our ex-Rough Rider. You know, DMX. Yeah, she writes all our jingles, and she put that together so nicely. You know, I love that Ask Sister Laila live, because at the end of it, you see Sheikh Morsi and Dr. Jamali. They come on doing the Cabbage Patch. I love that jingle. So I want to, give a shout out to thank Sister Geechee for all the jingles, all of our jingles that she puts together for us here at Sunnahfollowers, and you know, we do all of this for the sake of Allah. You know, she doesn't get paid for it. She, you know, she's a mother. She has children and she has a husband, and she sets aside, you know, time to do our jingles. And I want to thank her husband for allowing her to do that for me, because alhamdulillah. By the way, guys, you all know I got banned off of TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok banned Sister Laila Nasheeba. Oh yeah, they banned me. I don't know why. They said multiple violations of their whatever. So I'm banned off of TikTok, which I don't care. I don't use TikTok anyway. It's a kids program. But subhanallah, because of Geechee, they can't come at me with copyrights, because all of our material is copywritten by us. So alhamdulillah, may Allah bless Sister Geechee and her family. Ameen. Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the Ask Sister Laila live show. This is our show that's held every Friday at this time. And alhamdulillah, you know, if any questions that you have about Islam, you can feel free to type them on the screen and ask them. If I cannot answer it, don't fret. We do have Sheikh Morsi and we do have Dr. Jamali. They come in with that little cabbage patch at the end of my song. You know, I can always call one of them to come in here and answer a question if it's something that I can't handle. And alhamdulillah, it's always a delight to have Sheikh Morsi answer questions. And also it's a delight for Dr. Jamali to pop in every now and then like he does to handle the Q&A. And again, for those of you who are new, I do have a lot of new shahadas with me. I want to again congratulate my new shahadas on completing Ramadan this year. And I want to also remind my new shahadas, don't be afraid to ask any question. You know, just type it on the screen. If you are on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, DLive, Trovo, Twitch, I can see whatever you type. And also Instagram. I have Sister Fame on Instagram standing by, you know, to help with the questions. And by the way, is Sister Mina here today? I haven't seen Mina. She's still celebrating the Eid? Fame, Mina's not in there, right?
No, she's not in as well.
Okay, so we don't have Mina, but mashallah, just let everybody know I'm proud of all the children of Sunnah follower kids. They completed their Ramadan this year. I had my 7-year-old kids doing whole day fast. Mashallah, I'm so proud of them. I want to give a shout out to the Muslims on the West Coast. Hello. Y'all see that? My West Coast Mexicanos. This is Precious and her family. See the little babies there? They did whole day fast. Alhamdulillah. Whole day fast. I'm so proud of them. They also won a trophy for the basketball Pee-wee League. You know, shout out to my West Coasters. And also, just to let y'all know, check out Sister Fresno. I think I got a picture of her here. Look at this. Pictures. There's Fresno holding it down on the West Coast. The Fresno crew with Sister Precious and Sister Mina, and y'all see that cat, Mr. Kitty, hanging out there on the garbage can. You see that, Latifa? I got the cat on the garbage can. Hello, checking them out. That's their Eid celebration. The West Coast Fresno crew. Alhamdulillah. So we had a good Ramadan, you know, mashallah. A lot of you are still celebrating, you know. By the way, that's one of the first questions here. Let me answer this right quick. One of my new shahadas. She asked me, how many days is the Eid prayer? And how many days is the Eid celebration? This is a, you know, good question from a new convert, because she said that different masajids celebrate differently. Well, first of all, there's only one Eid. Eid is an Arabic word that means celebration. It means festivity, celebration. You know, once Ramadan ends, the next day is the Eid prayer. That is the festivities prayer. We go to worship Allah. Remember, we talked about, as for the new shahadas, we talked about what makes our actions of worship and what makes our celebrations different than the non-Muslims. Our celebrations are centered around remembrance of Allah. Whereas the Kafirs, they party and dance and drink and smoke and all that. Instead, we pray and glorify and praise Allah. The Eid prayer is just one day. It's the day after Ramadan ends. That's it. The Eid festivities is one day too. The celebration is just one day. That's it. Now, just to give you guys some of the history, it was during the caliphate of Ali, radiallahu anhu. During the caliphate of Ali, he was the first person to do a 3-day celebration. He allowed the Muslims to celebrate the ending of Ramadan for 3 days. But this is just, by choice. It's not part of the religion. You know what I'm talking about, guys? It's not an innovation. It's just a party for 3 days, But there's only one day. The Eid prayer is one, and the celebration is one. That's it. But if people want to do it 3 days, 5 days, where my sister lives, she lives in the Emirates. She said they celebrate for 5 days over there. In Kuwait, they sometimes do 7 days. I mean, subhanallah. But it's just one. And I hope that answers the question for the new shahadas. One Eid prayer, one celebration. Okay. And Brother Ahmed, he wants to know, how is the Eid khutbah performed? What do you mean? A khutbah. A khutbah is an Arabic word that means lecture or talk. How is the celebration talk performed? The imam just talks. If that's what you ask, it's just a talk. The imam will talk. I mean, the prayer is different because the prayer differs. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, make the sunnah prayers different from the obligatory prayers. The prayer itself consists of just 2 rakats, but the first rakat is 7 takbir, and the second rakat is 5 takbir. Okay. But other than that, a khutbah is just a talk. The imam talks about something. It's just a talk. I'm trying to keep it simple for my new shahadas here. Okay. You understand, Brother Ahmed? Does that answer your question? It's just a talk. The imam talks a short talk. The prayer itself is 2 rakats. 7 takbir in the first rakat, 5 takbir in the second. And by the way, I hope you guys know the Eid is over. I hope we don't have Muslims here trying to celebrate the Eid almost 4 or 5 days later. Okay. You got it? Okay, he said good. He's got it. He just watched what he wanted to know. Okay, so mashallah, that's all it is. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to make our voluntary prayers differ. Remember, we talked about that from the obligatory ones. That's why during Ramadan, when the imam led you guys in the Taraweeh, it was in sets of 2s to make it different, than the obligatory prayers. Yes. Okay. So if there's any questions you guys have, just type them on the screen. And I have Sister Fame. Are you the one going to be doing the reading?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead and get started fixing my hijab. Okay.
The first one is, a sister posted that marrying women who are not fertile is makruh, and is the imam disliked for marrying them, and is the purpose of marriage to bear children.
Oh,
this
my
is the hadith.
God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Just keep reading. I'm just like shaking my head in shock. Go ahead.
This is the hadith she used. Abu Uthaina reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the best of your women are loving, fertile, suitable, comforting, if they fear Allah. and she used another, which is not a hadith, that said that Ibn Qutama said it is mustahab that she be from a family whose women are known to bear many children.
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you guys, this is another example of the dangers. I repeat, the dangers. I repeat, the dangers of trying to teach yourself the religion. As I tell you guys, especially the new shahadas, every Muslim should have a teacher. Every Muslim on this planet should have a teacher that they're learning from. Okay? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the teacher for the companions. Okay? The angel Jibril alaihi salam was the teacher of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And seeking the correct knowledge of this religion is an obligation upon every Muslim on this planet. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when it comes to learning this religion, ask the people of knowledge. He also said, sit in the company of the people of knowledge. That means learn directly from the people of knowledge. You cannot pick up a hadith book. It's my cats fighting. You cannot pick up a hadith book and start reading it and think you know what the heck is going on. Okay? A lot of us do exactly what's happening here. We take hadiths, we twist them out of context. And I want you guys to understand the meaning of the Arabic word hadith. Hadith is an Arabic word that translates in English to mean the things the Prophet Muhammad said and the things the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. So if I'm going to say hadith, this is something that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, or is something that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. And whenever we talk about what a person said or what a person did, something had to happen. Something had to happen. Something had to happen to cause that person to say whatever they said or do whatever they did. That's why, as Muslims, we have to know the history of the hadiths. That's why you can't pick up a book, a Bukhari or any book, and start reading a hadith and think you understand what's going on. You have to know who, what, where, when, why, what happened to make the prophet say something if he said it. And you have to know the whole story behind it. And then after you hear what he had to say, you have to understand that hadith the same way that his companions understood it. Am I making myself clear? You can't walk around and read a hadith where the prophet said, it's good to get married to a woman who's fertile. And then you walk around saying it's mahrum, or it's haram to marry a woman that can't have children. First of all, second point, I want every new Muslim to write this down. The word mahrum does not exist. I repeat, the word mahrum does not exist. I repeat, the word mahrum does not exist. The word dislike does not exist. The word dislike does not exist. What do I mean? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the lawful and the unlawful things have been clearly defined by Allah. There's no such thing as disliked. Disliked is a term. Mahru is a term. Dislike is a term. Mahru is a term. I repeat, dislike is a term. Mahru is a term that the scholars came up with. And they came up with these things, many times they came up with it because it was something that they didn't know the answer to, something that they didn't understand, or they use it in cases of different opinions. Allah doesn't speak like that. The prophet didn't speak like that. The prophet didn't go around saying something is mahru. He either said it's lawful or it's not. Allah doesn't say in the Quran something is mahru. Allah says, I hate the things that I made haram. Everything that Allah made haram, which means unlawful, are the things he hates. Everything that Allah made lawful is good and clean. So I want you sisters to take the word mahru out of your vocabulary. Either it's something I can do or something I can't do. There is no in between. That's the second thing I want you to understand. Thirdly, there is no hadith. There is no hadith. There is no hadith on this planet that says it's haram for a man or forbidden for a man to marry a woman who can't have children. If that's the case, why did the Prophet Muhammad marry Aisha? Aisha could have had kids, but she didn't. Aisha never gave birth to not one child. And Aisha is one of the mothers of the believers. She's the fifth. They say she's the fifth most perfect woman ever created. So that knocks all that garbage out the door. Okay? Fourthly, what's the story of this hadith? Okay? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not go around telling men to only marry women that can have babies. What happened was there was one young brother who had gotten married. He married an older woman. And the Prophet asked him, why didn't you marry a young girl? And the man said, because I have sisters who I am taking care of. And I wanted to marry an older woman who's more mature, who could help me care for my children. This is the hadith that a lot of people tear to pieces. Okay? And the hadith that you're narrating is not a hadith, whereas the Prophet said it's forbidden to marry a woman that can't have children. This hadith is a conversation that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had with a young brother who was getting married. He said, when you choose a woman, try to choose a woman who, first of all, believes in Allah and fears him. And secondly, make sure that she can give you children, because this was a young brother. And thirdly, make sure she's someone that you can get along with. Do you guys understand? So you sisters are going to have to stop hanging around Muslims who don't know this religion. Muslims that teach themselves the deen. Muslims that lie on the Prophet and lie on Allah. Because when we take a hadith like this, twist it around out of context, now you're saying that Allah said it's disliked to marry a woman that can't have children, when Allah didn't say that. You're lying on Allah. You're lying on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam too. So tell these people to stop it. Okay? Stop it. Because no one knows what the womb is going to bring forth anyway. A woman can be as fertile like Aisha was. Aisha was 6 years old when the Prophet married her. Okay? She didn't give birth to not one child. Only Allah knows what's going to be in that womb, whether that womb is going to reproduce or not. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. If you had a young son who was about to get married, you would try to marry your son to a girl his age, who could give him kids, but Allah knows best if they'd even have any. Okay? But to go around saying that it's haram for a man to marry a woman, I can't have children. I'm too old now. So are you telling me that it's haram for a man to marry me? Are you people crazy? He'd be missing out on the best woman of his life. Okay? So I hope that answers your question, sister. Don't take these hadiths and twist them around to mean what they don't mean. Tell those Muslims to go learn their religion from the people of knowledge and stop lying on Allah, stop lying on the Prophet, and take the word mahru out of your vocabulary. Either it's lawful or it's not. There is no in between. There is no in between. Okay? And Allah knows best. Okay, next question. Go ahead. Whoever this woman is that's telling you this stuff, Jenna, tell her she needs to stop trying to pretend to be a scholar and go learn the basics. And I want you guys to remember, we're living in the days of the Ruwaybidah. Who are the Ruwaybidah? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there will appear amongst you many people who will be able to recite the Quran by heart beautifully, but it'll never go past their throats. In other words, they won't understand what they're saying, okay? Because they won't know my sunnah. They won't know the things I said. They won't know what I said to do. They will issue Islamic verdicts. They will issue Islamic verdicts that go against what I said, that go against what I did. These people, he said, will be known as the Ruwaybidah. They have a lot to talk about. They can tell you all about the worldly matters. They'll be able to speak all about politics. But if you were to ask these people the basics of the religion, they won't know. If you were to ask them about the lawful and the unlawful, they won't know it. Ask them about the pillars of the prayer, they won't know it. The pillars of the wudu, they won't know. But they run their mouth and got a lot to say based on their opinion. That's the Ruwaybidah. So whoever this woman is that's telling you this stuff, I'm sorry to say she sounds like Ruwaybidah. Because any woman that's going around telling another woman because she can't have children, she's haram for a man to marry, that woman got a mental problem. Something's wrong with her. And Allah knows best. Don't take your knowledge of the religion from her. She's crazy. And Allah knows best. This is why we got a high apostasy rate. Do y'all see that? This is why we have a high apostasy rate of Muslim women. Women convert to Islam and they apostate within 2 years because they come upon an idiot like that. That is ridiculous. Allah knows best. Go ahead. Next question.
The same sister, she said, I wanted to ask another question because this is the same sister that was saying scholars said that it is obligatory to learn Arabic.
Well, that right there tell you she's ignorant because, again, listen to what she told you. She said scholars said. Is Islam based on what scholars said? Who do we obey? Do we believe La ilaha illallah, scholars door Rasulullah? Is Islam based on scholarly views? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Islam is based on only 2 sources. the book of Allah, which is the Quran, and that's what Allah said. And my sunnah, which is what I said. Where does the word scholar come from? And by the way, scholars come a dime a dozen. Do y'all know who's the most famous scholar of all? Who's the most famous scholar? Shaitan, Iblis. Iblis is a scholar too. He's got a lot of followers. Scholar is a term of endearment. Okay? So this woman, whoever she is, I suggest that you not take your knowledge of Islam from her, because she's not teaching you from the Quran. She's not teaching you from the Sunnah. She's teaching you from scholarly views. And I'm pretty sure Iblis is probably the head honcho. So Allah knows best. Stay away from these people. If they don't base their information on what Allah said or an authentic hadith, where did Allah say you got to learn Arabic? She sounds racist to me. Is she an Arab? She might be racist. Where does Allah say that? Where did the Prophet Muhammad say that you got to know how to speak Arabic to go to paradise? Where's the clear dalil? These are idiots. These are racist people. Tribalism. Another one of the signs of the last hour. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, my nation will revert back to how they were in the beginning, to tribalism, racism, and all that other ism. So if I were you, sister, stay away from whoever this woman is. And Allah knows best. Next question. Go ahead. It's ridiculous.
Next question is it permissible to stop praying to answer the knock on the door, then start over again?
Yes, as long as you continue to face the direction of the Qibla. And let me give you the story behind that. One day, Aisha, radiallahu anha, was praying. And the Prophet one day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying. And Aisha came and knocked at the door. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam opened the door, let her in, but he kept his direction of the Qibla. So yes, if you're making salat and you hear someone at the door, like the kids are at the door, as long as you continue to face the direction of the Qibla, you can open the door and go back and resume your prayer. And Allah knows best. That source is Sahih Bukhari. That's Sahih Bukhari. Okay. Yes. Next question.
I had a person ask me why we are not to talk with them, the non-believers. What is the proper way to respond to this question?
Who said you can't talk to them? Again, whenever somebody tells you that you cannot do something, they have to bring the evidence. Just like if I'm going to tell you that you cannot arch your eyebrows, I'm going to follow it up with the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said anyone who removes the hair from their eyebrows has the curse of Allah on them. So whoever told you that you cannot talk to a non-Muslim, where's their dalil? Where's their evidence? The Prophet Muhammad talked to the non-Muslims. So did the companions. There's more non-Muslims in the world than there are Muslims. So what are we supposed to do? Live in a bubble? Where's their dalil? Where's their evidence? So whenever somebody tells you something is haram or something you cannot do or something that you should do, they have to bring the clear evidence. There's nothing in Islam that says that we cannot speak with non-Muslims. But what we shouldn't do is take them as close friends. We cannot become intimate with them. We cannot become close to them. That's called wala wa bara. That's what I'm teaching you in this class at 6 o'clock. Allah tells us in the Quran, in the interpretation of the meaning, they will never do. He says, do not take the Jews and Christians as close, intimate friends, because they will never accept you. They will never accept you. So we have to deal with them from a distance. We're polite. We work with them. We deal with them. But once it's time to go home, we punch that time clock and we say goodbye and we leave. We don't hang out with them. We don't party with them. We don't go out with them because their lifestyle contradicts us. Their belief systems contradict ours. But nowhere does Allah say we can't speak with them. Okay? And Allah knows best. I see how I'm giving you the evidence for the new shahadas. Sister Jana, you all see how I'm giving you the proof. I'm quoting what the Prophet said. I'm quoting what Allah said. That's the dalil. That's the evidence. Okay? And Allah knows best. And by the way, guys, if you would like to use the microphone, I have a sister here asking, well, let me put that up here. Join the Zoom room. Let me, she says she wants to use the mic. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. If you want to, join us on, oh, wait a minute. Is that the one? Does I have it on there? Okay, here it is. Join the Zoom room. Yeah, if you want to use the mic, I think it's on here. Please scan the QR. Wait a minute, does it say it? Wait, did it say it on this one? Yeah, you can join the Zoom room. There it is. To join the Zoom room, www.sunnahfollowers.net. And that way you can use the mic and stuff. Okay, yes. All right, go ahead.
A sister wants to know, how do you stop someone from being cremated by their mother and the father didn't step up to prevent it from happening?
This is why you have to have a will. There's nothing you can do. This is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every Muslim should have a will. Because if you don't have a will in America, even if you are the best Muslim on earth, if you ain't got a will and you die, your family can have you cremated. Seriously. You sisters and brothers have to have wills. Otherwise, there's nothing you can do to stop people. Because if you ain't got money for a burial, they gonna throw you in the oven. You know, subhanallah. Okay, you understand, Erica? So if you're worried about that happening to you, get a will, put it in your will. And by the way, when you get a will, give a copy of it to the imam of your local masjid. That's what we do here. You can go to my website, download the will that Dr. Jamali came up with, fill all the blanks in, give a copy to your lawyer, a copy to your family, and a copy to the local masjid. So in case something happens to you, the mosque got that will and they can claim your body and prevent you from being burnt. You know, and make sure you have some burial insurance, because if you don't have burial insurance, they're going to burn you. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed for burial insurance. Oh yeah, it's right there in Sahih Bukhari. He allowed for burial insurance. Oh yeah, get you some burial insurance. And Allah knows best.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have a question, Sister Laila, about the makeup for Ramadan fasting.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you do the 6th of Shawwal? Then after that you make up Ramadan?
No.
Ramadan.
I'm glad she asked this question, because I got another sister that asked it too earlier, and I told her I was going to answer it for her here, and I forgot. Remember, guys, the voluntary prayers and the voluntary fast and the voluntary actions do not, I repeat, do not take precedence over the obligatory ones. Allah is not going to ask you anything about the month of Shawwal. Whether you fast those 6 days or not, Allah ain't going to ask you nothing about them. But he is going to ask you about Ramadan because that's an obligation. Secondly, the hadith is clear. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone who completes, who fasts and completes, pay attention, the key word, completes the month of Ramadan fast, and then pay attention, and then do 6 days of Shawwal. You see that? Islam is clear. Allah and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they don't speak in riddles. It's clear. You are not going to be rewarded for any of your voluntary deeds if you do not complete the obligations. Another example, the Prophet gave the example of a man who stays up all night long praying the night prayer, but then he doesn't wake up for Fajr. Do you think Allah is going to reward him for praying all night long? No, he just wasted his time. Because if you are not fulfilling the obligations first, those voluntary deeds don't count because you don't have to do them anyway. You don't have to fast the 6 days of Shawwal, but you do got to make up Ramadan. So if you sisters want the reward of fasting 6 days of Shawwal, you must, I repeat, you must complete Ramadan. And that hadith is authentic, Bukhari and Muslim. Ramadan, complete, and then. Y'all understand that? Don't skip out on the two main words, complete and then. All right? And Allah knows best. Okay, and no problem. And that's one of the ways Shaitan gets us too. Shaitan will cause us to be more concerned with doing voluntary deeds that we ain't got to do. Shaitan, your personal jinn, he wants you to emphasize doing something that you ain't got to do so you can forget Ramadan, because he knows, your personal jinn knows that Allah ain't going to accept them those 6 days if you ain't completed Ramadan. So don't fall into that trap of Shaitan. That's one of the traps that Shaitan makes. He makes us more concerned with doing what we don't have to do instead of doing what we should do.
So Laila, yesterday we are talking, me and one sister here, to make up, and she was telling me, you don't have to make it up, you can do the shawwal and then make it. I tell her, no, I have to do the obligation, the Ramadan first. So we are talking like that, and then she's telling me, you didn't hear what the Imam said, the Imam of the Masjid here in our community. She said, he bring the hadith of Aisha, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, blah 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 blah. I just let it go. I just let her keep talking. I didn't say anything because I know I have to make it up Ramadan and then do that.
And there is no hadith where Aisha said, do the voluntary deeds and not the obligatory. That's a lie. They're lying on Aisha too. Because Aisha, when the Roman women, what's the source? What's the source? What's the source? Bukhari and Muslim and Muwatta too. When the Roman women came asking Aisha about the religion and their obligations, she told them, my husband, the Prophet, said, you have anyone who completes, that's her hadith I'm giving y'all. That's her hadith I'm quoting. Completes the month of Ramadan. Okay, so again, guys, we have to stop lying on these companions and just do what Allah says do. I mean, and don't get into any arguments with these people. I want you guys to remember the hadith that we went over during Ramadan. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, out of every 1,000 people you know, 999 of them will be in the hellfire, and only one will be in paradise. And in another version of that hadith, which is in Muslim, he said, out of every 100 people you know, 99 will be in hell and one in paradise. So strive to be the one that makes it to paradise. That hadith is powerful, because it lets you know that most Muslims that you know are going to be in hell. Most people don't understand their religion. And the Prophet said that the later generations, he said the later generations will become further and further and further and further and further away from the true Islam, you know. So most Muslims don't understand this religion. Most Muslims do not know, like I said, we're in the days of the Ruwaybidah. They do not know the lawful. They do not know the unlawful. They don't understand the basics, which is do the obligations first, and then the voluntary deeds. That's common sense. So don't fall for this. You know, most Muslims are uneducated about this deen. Most Muslims think that just because they watch YouTube or they do shake Google, they know the religion. They don't have no teacher. And the ones that they do call their teacher ain't qualified to teach. So, you know, this is the life.
I just be quiet because I know that's not right.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay,
now,
so-
yeah, and now you sisters see why I don't go to the mosque. I had a sister ask the other day, Sister Laila, why I don't go to the masjids? Because I can't stand to be around women like that. Women are very argumentative, and no woman likes to be told she's wrong by another woman. And every time I go around Muslim women at the mosque, I see some wrongdoing, innovation, deviation. And if you speak out about it, you know, it turns into a fight. So this is why Allah says your house, your home is better for you. As Muslim women, we get more blessings staying at home learning our religion, because it's going to always be a fight when you go around other women, you know, at the mosque. It's just, it's crazy. Yeah. And Allah knows best. It's sad.
Okay, the next question is, outside of Ramadan, do unmarried men have to fast Mondays and Thursdays?
This is another example. We have the hadith, whereas a Bedouin had just converted to Islam, and he came to the Prophet. He said, "O Prophet of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I just become Muslim. Tell me what is expected of me in regards to fasting. In other words, what fast am I obligated to do?" The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "You are obligated to fast during the month of Ramadan." The man said, "Am I obligated to do any other fast?" The Prophet said, "No, unless you want to." And the man said, "Well, that's all I will do. It's the fast of Ramadan." And when he walked away, the Prophet said, if he sticks to what he said, he will be a man of paradise. What's the source? Sahih Bukhari. Okay, so again, guys, the only fast that we are obligated to perform is the month of Ramadan. That's it. If you want to do other fasts, you can, but you don't have to. Okay, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do voluntary fasts a lot because he was a prophet of Allah, Plus, he wanted to show a good example for us, how Allah loves for us to do actions of worship that are pleasing to him. So the prophet would fast different days. Sometimes he'd fast on Mondays. Sometimes he'd fast on Thursdays. Sometimes he'd fast on Saturdays and Sundays too. After the Jews broke their agreement with him in Medina, he began to fast on Saturdays and Sundays too. Okay, so voluntary fast, you can fast anytime you want, but you're only obligated to do it during the month of Ramadan. You guys understand that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recommended that the single men who have a hard time controlling their sexual desire, say for example, you're a young man, you don't have the money to get married, you don't have a job yet. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged the young single men like that who had a problem controlling their desires to fast, because fasting takes your mind off your private parts. Because as you guys know from having just completed Ramadan, when we're fasting, we're remembering Allah. Our mind is on Allah, not our body. So the Prophet would encourage fasting for the young brothers to help them control their desires. Okay, but is it an obligation to fast any other time other than Ramadan? No, and Allah knows best. And y'all see how, again, I answered with evidence from the hadith. And I ain't even got to tell you the source, but since I memorized these hadith, I can tell you the source, but I don't have to. But I'm giving you the source too. Okay, and any other questions?
The next question is, if you fast the days of Shawwal, is that like fasting a whole year?
If you fast the 6 days of Shawwal, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will forgive you of the sins that you commit for the upcoming year. But I want you guys to know, fasting those 6 days of Shawwal do not bring more reward than Ramadan. None of the voluntary deeds, I repeat, none of the voluntary deeds, I repeat, none of the voluntary deeds bring more reward than Ramadan. Don't allow your jinn to make you sisters not make up Ramadan, because I'm a woman too. And we women can get lazy and laxed when it comes to our obligations. That's why Allah gave us a menses. And your personal jinn will make you sisters think that you ain't got to make up Ramadan. You can do the 6 day. Nope. Shawwal don't bring the reward Ramadan. Ramadan brings forgiveness of all your past sins. All of them. It brings more reward than Shawwal. Okay? So, you sisters, I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I'm a woman and I know how that brain works. I've been there and done that. Okay, I used to be young. I used to do that stuff too. You sisters better focus on making up Ramadan first. Complete whatever days you missed a Ramadan and then talk about Shawwal. You understand that? Until you sisters get that Ramadan done, Shawwal ain't nothing. It brings nothing for you. And that's the truth. That's what the Prophet said. Nothing. Fulfill the obligation of Allah first. Then we can talk about that voluntary stuff. Okay? Because you sisters are going to get it twisted. That's the deficiency in a woman. That hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we women have a deficiency, it doesn't mean that we're less intelligent than men. It's talking about PMS. We get it twisted, our hormones. We're weaker than men spiritually. We're easy to cave in and not fulfill and not do our obligations. That's the deficiency in us. Don't allow your jinn to take you there. Worry about Ramadan. Complete that and then talk about shawwal. And Allah knows best.
The next question is vanilla extract that has less than 1% alcohol not permissible to consume? Because that would still mean it has alcohol in it.
Okay, again, first of all, we done been down this road. And this is another example. The Prophet ﷺ said that our nation, we Muslims, we don't have the intelligence that the Christians have. The Christians are more intelligent than us. What does that mean? That means that they're more learned than we are. They educate themselves. Whereas we Muslims don't educate ourselves. We take stuff based on what we heard from the grapevine. Whereas the Christians will go out and learn, get an education and learn. First of all, we have to realize there's two different types of alcohol. There's fermented alcohol and there's non-fermented alcohol. Fermented alcohol is the kind that makes you drunk, the kind that makes you high. Non-fermented is not that kind. Okay. Distilled is another word we use in English. We use fermented and we use distilled. Distilled alcohol is the kind of alcohol that makes you high. Non-distilled does not, because it has not been fermented. So we have to understand, guys, that that's how Allah created. He's the one that created all this for us. Now, having understood that, when you look at stuff that says it has alcohol in it, it's not the kind that's fermented. It's not the kind that's been distilled to get you drunk. If that were the case, they wouldn't sell it for children. For example, toothpaste. Toothpaste has alcohol in it too. Mouthwash. But it's not the kind that's been fermented to get you drunk. Rubbing alcohol. They call it rubbing alcohol to let you know it's rubbing. It's not distilled. It's not fermented to get you drunk. The alcohol they put in what you call it, deodorant and lotion. This stuff is not fermented. It is not distilled. The alcohol they put in vanilla extract, lemon extract, it's not the kind that's been distilled or fermented. The non-Muslims understand this. This is what the Prophet meant when he said, my nation, we don't have the intelligence of the Christians. The Christians learn. They go to school. They learn the difference between distilled and non-distilled. Just like the non-Muslims know the difference between the word revert and convert. The non-Muslims would never refer to a person who embraces a new lifestyle as a revert. They would call them what they are, converts. But this is the ignorance of our nation. And we will continue, as the Prophet said, to become more and more and more ignorant. What's the source? What's the source? What's the source of what I'm saying? Sahih Muslim. So to answer your question, sister, the alcohol that's in that extract, that's in that toothpaste, that's in the deodorant, that's in the shaving cream, that's in what all the children use and stuff, it is not fermented. It's not the kind to get you drunk. And Allah knows best. Okay, next question.
Okay, let me get this question in Zoom.
And by the way, you learn this stuff when you go to college, when you go to school and take science. Okay, take science classes, people. I know we don't want to do the math, and I know we don't like to use our noggin, but take some science classes and you learn this stuff. Okay. All right, go ahead.
The question is this hadith authentic? Abu Hurairah said, the one who recites 80 times after Asr prayer on Friday before he gets up from his place, Allah will forgive his sins for 80 years and will record for him the reward of worshiping for 80 years.
Stay away from Sufism. No, it's not authentic. That's Sufism. And Allah knows best. Next one.
Okay, the next question is, when we pray behind the Imam, do we say Allahu Akbar every time the Imam says Allahu Akbar?
You can, is this a sister asking or a man?
A man.
Okay, for the man, yes, but you don't scream it out. You know what I'm saying? You don't scream it out, you know, you remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever we remember Allah, move your tongue, because your tongue will be a witness for you. Your tongue will testify on your behalf on the day of judgment. So if the Imam goes Allahu Akbar and you go Allahu Akbar, yeah, to yourself, Allahu Akbar, then that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand? But don't go Allah, you know, Allahu Akbar. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, for the woman, it's different. Remember, as Muslim women, we are not, I repeat, we are not, I repeat, a Muslim woman is forbidden to beautify her voice publicly. Whenever a Muslim woman speaks publicly, even in prayer, we don't speak at all, because prayer requires beautifying your voice in the presence of men. When you're speaking publicly like I'm doing, I got brothers in here, I am making my voice strong, loud, like it is. Allah says in the Quran, "O you women who believe, do not speak softly, publicly, because you don't know what lurks in the heart of man." Even though my dawah is directed towards women, I have men here too. Do y'all think I walk around speaking this way in the house? Why do y'all think my voice, can't you tell I'm straining it to keep it on purpose, to make it loud, to make it serious, to make it intimidating, to make it firm? But do you guys think this is how I walk around the house speaking? You're crazy. My voice is soft. Oh yeah. Layla can be a Marilyn Monroe when she's off once the cameras go off. Oh yeah. But I'm public. My voice has to be loud. It has to be strong. I have to be intimidating because I'm a woman. This is for my protection. Do you know how many men out there would like to take a puck shot at me? They'll think twice. All right. Okay. But for the man, yeah, move your tongue, but you don't scream it out and all that crazy stuff like some of these brothers are doing. And Allah knows best. Yes.
The next question is, was Bukhari a companion?
No. Imam Bukhari was from Persia. In fact, so was Imam Muslim. In fact, so was all the four Imams except for one. Imam Shafi was Arabic. The rest of them were Persian. Okay, no. Imam Bukhari was one of they came after the companions. But he gathered up the hadiths, the collections of hadiths. But no. The four Imams weren't companions either. And we talked about that hadith, by the way. I'm gonna quiz y'all on that hadith tomorrow. That hadith we went over, where the Prophet and in fact, I posted it up for you guys. I posted that hadith up for you guys on my YouTube channel on the community tab. The hadith about the Persians. How the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, you will be replaced by his people. And he pointed to Salman al-Farsi. He said, either you will follow them or they will replace you. Because they were the ones that replaced, that replaced them. When the companions died off, it was the 4 imams and Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim and them and Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah was, they all kept the Sunnah. They kept the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad going with the understanding of those companions. They replaced them like the Prophet said that they would do. Yeah. And Allah knows best.
Was the whole Quran revealed in the month of Ramadan?
No. And we talked about that during the month of Ramadan. The Quran was revealed over the course of all those years of prophethood. The Quran was completed. It was completed. The last verses completed during the month of Ramadan. But no, it was not sent down during that month. It was sent down over the course of all those years of prophethood. It was just completed during the month of Ramadan. The last month of Ramadan of the year of the prophet's death. That's when the Quran was completed. The year of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's death. That was the last verses and the final completion of it. Yes. Allah knows best.
The next question is,
Sister Laila, I had a question.
Yes, go ahead, baby.
Are you still allowed to eat candy and sweets and like cakes that have alcohol in them?
Okay, I just talked about that, guys. The type of alcohol that they put is not the kind that makes you drunk. It's not fermented. It's not fermented. That means it's not distilled. It's not the kind that gets you drunk. So yes, you can eat the cakes. And Allah knows best. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Sister Laila.
Yeah, it's not the kind that gets you drunk. A lot of Muslims don't, like I say, the Muslims have to get educated, We just have to learn these things in school. When we take science classes, we learn this, I learned about that in the 11th grade. Sister Laila was in 11th grade when she learned about distilled and fermented because we had an assignment. They wanted to take some grapes and distill it. And my mother said I couldn't do it because it was against Islam. I was in 11th grade or the 10th grade. I was in the 10th grade. I learned about the difference between distilled alcohol and fermented in the 10th grade. Science project we had to do. My mother said she can't do that because she's a Muslim. Yes. All right, next question.
in my culture, we soak raisins in alcohol and grind them and bake them in cake.
That's haram. If your culture is doing that, your culture got some issues, because raisins and all of that stuff, that's how you ferment them. That's making fermented alcohol. Fermented alcohol is when you take the raisins or barley or wheat or oats and you allow them to ferment until they become alcoholic. That's different. That's different. We can't do that, guys. That's what's haram. You find that the Muslims are the one. And this is one of the signs of the last hour. You find that it's the Muslims doing the haram stuff with the alcohol and drugs. The Kafirs trying to get away from drugs. The Kafirs trying to get away from alcohol. But you see, it's the Muslims trying to find a way to do the haram. That's how I know that war is coming real soon. Because all these hadiths are coming true. No, that's fermented. You cannot do that with raisins. The Prophet forbade that. The Arabs were doing that back in the 6th century. And that's when the Prophet talked about it. What's the source? What's the source? Sahih Muslim. That's when the Prophet goes into detail about the difference between fermented and non-fermented. What your culture is doing is making alcohol. That's haram. They need to stop that tribalism crap. Yeah. Boy, those hadiths are becoming true, man. Scary. The Kafirs trying to take alcohol out of everything, and the Muslims trying to put it in. Lord have mercy. Yeah, go ahead. Next question. Woo.
Next question is wearing bracelets and jewelry considered tabaruji?
First of all, for the person that typed that, speak in English so that these new converts understand what you're saying. Most of the people listening here are converts. And I don't want y'all to play the Arabic game with them. I'm trying to break my converts out of that intimidation. Type it in English so they can understand what you're asking. Yeah, he's coming. Yeah, don't worry about it. Now you got the new Muslims saying, we can't wear jewelry. Type your question in English and then go to the next one while that person types it. Yeah.
Okay, the next question. I was listening to your lecture about the rules of traveling. So if I live in one state and attend school in a different state and do my shopping in another state, and they are all a couple hours away, are these places a part of my residence?
Okay, remember, guys, again, Islam is not based on what the 4 Imams say. It's based on what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And the Prophet Muhammad said that traveling is not determined, just like he said about the menses or something different. You will find that some of these schools of thoughts, their comments contradict the authentic hadiths. Just like all them hadiths, those schools of thoughts, none of them got it right about the woman's menses. Well, here's another example. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that travel is not contingent upon how many miles you go. It's about leaving your place of residence to go to another part of the world that's not part of your residence. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. Sahih Muslim goes into such beautiful detail, different examples from the companions of how they went just 1 mile or 2 miles. It don't even matter how many miles. If it's not part of your residence, if it's a part of the world that is not part of your residence, you are considered a traveler. Okay, so if I'm going to go, for example, I live in Cleveland, consists of 50 different suburbs. I live in Akron. Let's say I want to go visit my brother who lives in Westlake. That's an hour and a half away from me because I don't go on the freeway. I don't know nothing about Westlake. I don't know nothing about the West Side. I ain't never been there. I'm a traveler. It's not my regular place of residence. I don't go to that part of the for nothing. I don't know nothing about that side. So I'm a traveler. You guys understand it? The religion is easy. The religion is easy. It's just that we have to learn it the correct way. So as the companion said, whenever you leave your place of residence, your place of familiarity, and travel to another part of the earth that's not your place of residence, that's not your place of familiarity, you are a traveler. Does everybody understand? And Allah knows best. See how simple the religion is. Yeah.
So as a traveler, you need a mahram?
Okay, we talk about that all the time. You know, Allah makes the laws for women for their protection. If I was going to leave America to go fly to France, if I was going to leave Ohio to go travel to California, Allah requires that a woman have a mahram with her for her protection, because guess what? Not only did highway robbery exist back then, we got detainment, highway robbery, human trafficking, and everything else today too. Everybody understand? So Allah makes the laws for our protection. But of course, there's always exceptions to every rule. But as a Muslim woman, you don't want to go, especially in this day and age, you don't want to go anywhere alone. It's for your protection, woman. You guys get it? Now, let's say I want to go to California. I can have my grandson go with me to the airport, wait with me until I board the plane. And then when I get to California, I'll have somebody meet me at the airport. That's safe. That way I'm protected. But as far as you women traveling all around the world, you know, like vagabonds, you opening yourself up to all kind of danger. Okay? And that's what that hadith means. They had highway robbery then. Women were being raped back in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th century. Women were raped. Catch you out, you're going to get raped. Well, it's the same today too. Let they catch you alone, you're going to get raped. You're going to get popped. You're going to get killed. Especially if you a terrorist. So it's for your protection, sisters. You shouldn't be traveling alone. Okay? And Allah knows best. Yeah.
Okay, the sister from earlier, she said that tabaruji is adoring yourself or dressing and acting a way that's excessive.
Okay, this is the problem. A lot of Muslims don't know what the word excessive means. That's why I wanted you to type it in English. A lot of Muslims don't understand what's meant by excessive. A lot of Muslims don't understand what's that word at all. Nothing. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said again, the lawful and the unlawful has been clearly defined by Allah. If Allah doesn't say it's haram, then that means it's lawful. There is no verse in the Quran, nor is there any, I repeat, there's not any, I repeat, there is no hadith on planet Earth that's authentic that forbids women from wearing jewelry. The Prophet's wives wore jewelry. Aisha wore bracelets. She wore bangles. She wore earrings. She had a necklace. Remember how the slander began. Aisha was traveling with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the other companions, and she lost her necklace. Okay? So we got to be careful as Muslims trying to make things haram that Allah didn't make haram, because we got problems. We're jealous. Okay? So jewelry is not haram. But what Allah does forbid us is prostitution. I'm going to break it down in plain, simple English for you women. Since you women don't know what excessive means, you know what a prostitute is, don't you? Allah has cursed. He says in the Quran that he has cursed the woman who decorates herself up and goes to the marketplace and stomps her feet. Her bangles can shake and make noise so she can pick up men. That's what's haram. It's haram for you women to prostitute yourself. And a lot of you do that. A lot of you sisters, makeup is not haram. But the way you sisters wear it, some of you have on those fake eyelashes that go up to the moon. Haram, haram, haram. Okay? You put on all this pink stuff on your face, all this lipstick and glitter up here, and then you go to the ISNA conference or the ICNA conference or these MSA conferences with all that perfume on. You shake and stomp your feet so your jewelry can jingle. Y'all know I ain't lying. So y'all can pick up a dude. That's a prostitute. Jewelry is not haram. Makeup is not haram. Prostitution is. That's in plain, simple English. I know all y'all women understand. So we don't have to play with Arabic words because Arabic is a language. It's not a religion. And you sisters don't speak Arabic. You sisters will take an Arabic word and twist it around and mean something that it don't mean. So that's why I tell y'all, type it in English, because I'm going to break it down to you in English. Prostitution is haram because you don't know what excessiveness is, but you know what prostitution is. You know, every woman here can look at herself in a mirror and know how you look. Before you walk out the door, you look at yourself in the mirror and you know if you are making yourself up to pick up a dude or not. Every woman here knows when she's prostituting herself. All of us women are capable of it. Hello, let me break it down. All of us Muslim women are capable of it. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the greatest fitna left behind on this earth for a man is a woman. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said if there were any creature that could outsmart Shaitan, it would have been a woman. We women know how to charm. We women know how to play the game. Each and every one of us know if we prostituting ourselves or not. Prostitution is haram, haram, haram. Jewelry is not. Makeup is not. Colors are not. Fabric is not. But prostitution is. Now do you sisters understand? So y'all can use that stuff with the men. Y'all can go to Kareem Abu-Zayd with that garbage, but you can't come to Laila with it because I'm a woman and I know better. And Allah knows best. Okay. Did I break that down, Tifa? Okay. Trying to make jewelry and stuff haram. No, jewelry ain't haram, but prostitution is. All right. Next question.
I am a newlywed. I was wondering, are anniversaries permissible?
Okay. This is a question that has nothing to do with lawful and unlawful, but instead it has to do with wala wal bara, allegiance, allegiance, allegiance. When we declare la ilaha illallah, what are we declaring? We are declaring that our allegiance is to Allah and our allegiance is to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and our allegiance is to the religion of Islam. Celebrating anniversaries has nothing to do with worship. Islam forbids us from worshiping anything other than Allah. Okay? Also, we are forbidden as Muslims from assimilating actions that contradict our belief system. Anniversaries don't contradict that either. So celebrating anniversary is not an act of worship. Celebrating anniversary does not contradict our belief system, but it may fall into the category of, is that something that is from our way of life? Is that our culture? Remember, as Muslims, our culture is Islam. American culture is celebrating anniversaries. Y'all see the difference? So is my allegiance to Allah, the Prophet, the religion of Islam, or is my allegiance to something that is culturally done in America? You guys see? So it's not a question of lawful and unlawful. It's a question of where your allegiance is. Me personally, I never celebrated an anniversary because anniversaries don't mean nothing to me. They didn't mean nothing. That's not part of our lifestyle as Muslims. But I do know some Muslims that do. Can I say that they going to hell for doing it? No. Can I say they committing a sin by doing it? No. You know, it's just that their allegiance is they're on a different level in their allegiance than I am. That's all I can say. You understand? So it's not haram, but it's a question of allegiance. And a lot of people are not as intact in their allegiance as you may be or I may be. And Allah knows best. Okay.
Next question is, how do women go out when they put on perfume? Does she have to take shower?
First of all, it's haram. I repeat, it's haram. I repeat, it's haram for a woman to go outside of the house and around men with perfume. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any woman who puts on perfume and goes outside the house, any man who smells her is as if she's had sex with him. And such a woman has the curse of Allah on her. So I don't know any God-fearing Muslim woman who would put on perfume. Even me, look at me. I like to look nice. I like to look balanced and beautiful because Allah loves beauty, but you would never say you smell Laila Nasheeba because I don't wear perfume. Perfume is haram for us to wear because any man that smells you, it's as if you had sex with him. It's like you're an adulterer and you have Allah's curse on you. So I want you sisters to answer that question. Is having Allah's curse on you worth putting on that perfume? You know, so you have to ask yourself that, sisters. Yeah. It's haram to do that. Now, if you were around all women, that's different. If you were around other women, but when you go out that door, you're gonna pass your neighbor who's a man. You're gonna pass the mailman or the boy next to any male that smells you. It's as if you had sex with him. I want you sisters to think about that. And there's a difference between perfume and body spray. Now, again, when you guys go and ask the brothers don't know the difference. I'm a woman. Laila Nasheeba knows the difference. Y'all can't ask me about that. You know bath and body spray ain't the same as no perfume. Okay? You sisters know. Like I say, we women can outsmart Shaitan, but we can't outsmart each other. That's the limit with a woman. She cannot outsmart another woman. You can outsmart a man. You can outsmart Iblis maybe, but not another woman. Okay? And Allah knows best. Next question.
Can we pray in the same room as the Mona Lisa picture, which is not located towards the Qibla, but to the side?
Okay, what it is, guys, are you evidently this person is at work. Are you at work? Is that why you asking? It's not a picture in your house. It's a picture at work or something like that. Is that what you're asking? Let me get more information from this person. Is it a picture at the job or something like that? And you have to make prayer? Let me answer it. Prayer is an obligation that must be fulfilled, even to the point whereas if there's no water around and you can't get to no water and you can't get to no dirt, you pray without a wudu. So if it's time to make prayer and you ain't got no choice but to pray in a room that has a picture, then you pray in the room with the picture. Y'all understand that? Because prayer is an obligation. It has to be performed. Okay? Now, if you are praying and you can cover a picture, then that's good. Cover it up. But if you cannot cover the picture, you still perform your prayer, because prayer is an obligation that must be performed. And Allah knows best. If you have no choice but to pray in that room and you can't cover it up, then you pray. Everybody understand? Just like if you had no wudu, no water, no dirt, you pray without the wudu. And Allah knows best.
The next question is, a sister wants to know what's the punishment of not making up her Ramadan fast?
This is a major sin. That means when you die, Allah's going to take it out of your soul. That's why I'm telling you, sisters, y'all got to make them days up. That's why I say all the questions about shawwal, I know why them questions came up, because you lazy sisters don't want to make up your days of Ramadan. You think you can do 6 days of shawwal and call it a day because you were weak and only did 2 weeks of fasting and made up an excuse to not fast the other 2 weeks. Oh, I know the game. I'm a woman. Okay. You know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever does not complete the month of Ramadan, you're going to answer to Allah. You're guilty of a major sin. This is a major sin. It's like committing adultery. Not completing your Ramadan is like having sex out of wedlock. That's how major a sin it is. You sisters got to make them days up. And I would suggest you get busy doing them now. And by the way, let me remind you guys this. Ramadan is a debt that's owed to Allah. Say, for example, something happened and you die, not able to make them days up. Your family can make them up for you. So I suggest you sisters, let your relatives, let your husband, your children, your brother, your sister know how many days of Ramadan you need to make up. Because if something happens and you die, they can fast and make them up for you. Because that's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ramadan is a debt owed to Allah, and his debts are more worthy of being paid off than the debts of man. So let your family members know how many days you got to make up. So in case something happened, they can do it on your behalf. And Allah knows best.
The next question is, do you have to make up Ramadan days back to back or any time before the next?
No, they don't have to be consecutive. No, you can do it. Just you have until the beginning of next Ramadan. You have until next Ramadan to make them up. You got a year. But the thing is, we don't know if we're going to live a year. That's why I'm telling you, let your family know how many days you got to make up too. So in case you don't get to make them all up, they can fast them on your behalf. But no, they don't have to be back to back. You can do 2 days here, 1 day there, or however. A lot of people like to make them up in the wintertime. But like I say, what guarantee you have that you're going to be living in the winter, by the winter? Yeah. And for the sisters, okay, I'm going to answer that too. For the sisters that owe the ransom, who were the ransom? The people that were falling in the category of the ransom, the same. You have until next Ramadan to pay that ransom. Most of my students paid their ransom already here with Brother Mukhtar, alhamdulillah. Much cheaper for us. Yes. But yeah, the same applies for the people who have the ransoms. You have until next Ramadan to make up your to pay that ransom. You guys did good this Ramadan too, so subhanallah, make them days up so you can get your reward, your blessings from Allah. Yeah. Also, guys, let me remind everybody too, tomorrow I'm going to begin the new class from the book written by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli entitled Prohibited Imitations. That class will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to put out tonight what pages to read that we're going to go over. We're going to start with the beginning of the book, of course, but I'll let you know what pages to review. So that class will be tomorrow at 9 p.m. For those of you who have not yet bought the book, please make sure you go to atlionline.com and get that book. It's only $7. Yeah, the book is $7. And also on Sunday, inshallah, we'll be back to the Sunnah Follower Kids program, and we'll be using the book Dunya by Brother Abdullah Kirk. And I want the children to read the first chapter so you guys can review with your children the first chapter of the book Dunya and answer the questions at the end of the chapter, because we're going to go over the questions together in class on Sunday, and I'll also summarize what was spoken about in that first chapter, inshallah. Yeah, go ahead. Any other questions? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, brother. You can type yours too. Got the brothers here on Twitch. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Okay. The brother here is typing. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. He's saying to me, he said, Sister Laila, I really enjoy your classes and I really enjoy your Q&As. He said, you break the religion down so easily. Is it lawful for me to participate? Yes. Aisha radiallahu anha was one of the first scholars of Islam. Did you guys know that one of her students was Imam Malik's teacher, Asma. Asma was one of the 300 students that Aisha put out. And Imam Malik learned from Asma. Yes, who was the student of Aisha, radiallahu anha. Yeah, you can listen to me as long as you behave yourself. You start acting crazy, I'm going to kick you up out of here. But yeah, you can listen. Long as you be respectable and like you are, and don't come in here with that crazy stuff, because I'll kick you out. A heartbeat. Yeah. I got that salama in me. I know how to work a pole, and I'm talking about hand pole this way. I ain't talking about the pole T.I. said keep your daughters off. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Any questions in there, Femi?
No.
Yes, that book. Yes. This is a question too from one of the new shahadas. She wants to know, yes, for the new shahadas, the class with the kids on Sunday, yes, join it. My Sunnah Follower Kids program at 2 p.m. on Sundays, since you new shahadas have the book too, Dunya. It's not a children's book, as you guys can see. It's not a children's book at all. So you new shahadas can join too. That way you're learning, how to maintain your fitra in a non-faith-filled society. Yes, so yes, the new shahadas are welcome to join the Sunnah Follower Kids program too. Yeah, so that way you can go over the book with us too. Yes, very good question. Yes. Any other question? Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Okay, this is a good question too. The brother wants to know, for fasting the days of Shawwal, do they have to be consecutive? No, you don't have to do all 6 days together. If you want to do 6 days of Shawwal, you can do them, they can be spaced out. Okay, yeah, they don't have to be back to back. A good job. Yeah, you brothers should. You should do it. Yes. Yeah, do them now. Okay, here's another question about fasting on Friday. Yes, that hadith is authentic. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Do not. This is our day. Friday is our day." He said, "Do not fast on Fridays unless you fast the day before it or the day after it, not both." Comprenez? Okay, oh God, he wants me to say it in French. Lord have a mercy. Hold on. Vendredi. Right. Okay, he's got it. Okay, yeah. You can fast either one, not both. Okay, you can either fast the day before or the day after, not both, not before and after. So that's based on the hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came home and found Zainab, his wife Zainab, was fasting, and he said it was a Friday, vendredi, yeah. And so he asked her. He said, "Did you fast yesterday?" She said, "No." He said, "Do you plan on fasting tomorrow?" He said, "Do not fast on Friday unless you fast the day before or the day after." Yes. Yeah, good job. Of course, there's always exceptions to every rule. If this was right before Ramadan and you were making up your days, say you had to make up your days of Ramadan, then that's different. That would be an exception. Exactly. Good job, brother. Yeah, you understood that part correctly. Comprenez? Okay, that's good. Okay. Okay, Sister Norta wants to know, is it true that if you get angry during Hajj, your Hajj is broken? Yes, that's true. If you get that type of angry, yes. When you make Hajj is all about self-restraint and self-refrain. You can't go to Hajj fighting people. You can't kill anything. You can't even kill anything, in Mecca, in the Haram. You can't even kill a cockroach, and them things are everywhere. Yes, you have to follow the rules of making Hajj. You can't go there fighting and killing and any of that crap. Yeah. Hajj is the biggest jihad for a woman. Yes.
Here's a question in Zoom. Is circumcision also applied to women as part of their fitra? A sister on TikTok posted a video that went viral saying female circumcision is a mustahab due to this hadith. Abu Huraira, one of the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was quoted saying, 5 things are fitra: circumcision, shaving pubic hair with the razor, trimming the mustache, paring one's nails, and plucking the hair from one's armpit. And she said that it did not only apply to men.
Okay, and they banned me. They banned me on TikTok, y'all. They banned my account because I was teaching the truth. But they got people like her not banned on TikTok. Okay, again, guys, be careful of TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, social media people and their garbage. These are the days of the Ruwaybida. Who is she? She's an idiot. This is another example of, again, picking up the hadiths and quoting them and don't know the story, don't know what you talking about. That hadith does not apply to women, because if she was a person of knowledge, she would know the hadith, whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he also talked about the fitra, the rest of that hadith, that's just one sentence. He gave a khutbah, a 5-page khutbah. When he talked about the fitra, one of the companions said, "O Prophet of Allah, what about the women? Should we circumcise the women?" The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered and said, "If you do, first of all, you don't have to do the woman. And if you do, you only take a little of it." He said, you only take a little, because if you take too much, it can be harmful. So again, you guys need to stop watching these people who call themselves people of knowledge on TikTok and stuff. These are a bunch of wannabes. They don't know anything about this religion. They're taking hadiths out of context, twisting them around. You know, a woman does not have to be circumcised. And this woman got a mental problem. Maybe she got circumcised. And that's why she's saying this, because she's miserable. You know, no, the woman does not have to be circumcised. And the Prophet said, if you do it, only take a little bitty bit. Otherwise, you will end up just like that woman, miserable in your life, not enjoying having a husband. She's an unhappy person. And she wants all other women to be like her, unhappy. And Allah knows best. Sad. Man, these TikTok people, they banned me. Oh yeah, my account's banned on TikTok. They banned Laila. They didn't want to hear the truth. They wanted to hear people like her. Yeah. Allah knows best.
I have a question. The question is, this is Samira Hayes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Speaking on those same terms, there's a chat room where one of my friends is just crazy about it, and I disagree with her, because they might read a book or whatever they're reading, but the individual running the chat room or individuals in the chat room express their opinion and views. I disagree with that, because I don't think I should take from you. You're not educated.
That's a big sin. That's the problem. You're not supposed to. And that's the big problem. We have all these people on TikTok, social media, sitting up in chat rooms. None of these people qualified to talk about Islam. They have no understanding of this religion. They are the Ruwaybida. This is that hadith that the Prophet was talking about. They sitting there reading hadiths and misconstruing the meaning of them, twisting them around, teaching themselves. We're living in the days of the Ruwaybida. And that's why Allah is so angry. That's why Allah is sending all this wrath and punishment upon us. We've deviated away from true Islam. You know, we are in the era of Ruwaybida. It's really sad. And the people of the truth, we get banned. Like me, they banned me on TikTok. My little videos that I was putting out explaining stuff like this to y'all, they got me banned. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to keep the Ruwaybida on there. Yeah, that's Shaitan. That's how he works.
Their website I was talking about is Clubhouse. I don't like Clubhouse.
Yeah, well, don't advertise it because you have these new shahadas trying to look it up. I don't like that either. Yeah, you people just keep coming here like you are with me to learn from the people who know. You got Dramali here. You got me, Dramali, Mukhtar. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, any other questions? Yeah, the brother here say it was probably them that got you banned. Yeah, I didn't use TikTok. I just put my videos on there because, the kids told me to do it to get more people. I don't care about TikTok. Y'all know me. I deal with Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So as long as my Instagram, Facebook, and them accounts, I don't care about no TikTok. But yeah, the Ruwabi, they're probably the one that got me banned. Yeah. They said multiple violations. Yeah, they left me a message saying, you are permanently banned due to multiple violations. I said, oh, really? Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Alhamdulillah, I don't see any other questions. And subhanallah, it's almost 11. Mashallah, next week for this Q&A, our topic, we're going to answer questions about Islam. And also we're going to speak about, did anybody get in touch with Geechee?
I did call her, but she didn't pick up her phone.
Oh, I hope she's okay. Next week, we're going to be going to answer your questions about Islam. And also, we're going to talk about younger men marrying older women. That's the thing now. Oh, yeah. Y'all know it's happening. These young Muslim men calling themselves looking for Khadijas, marrying older women. We're going to talk about that next week. Oh, yeah. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session. Please make sure you're here tomorrow. Dr. Ali and them don't resume their classes until next week. So the first class tomorrow will be Dr. Asim's class. And he did give me a topic, guys. His topic is this. Let me give y'all the topic. Hold on. I meant to put this together. His topic is, oh God. Oh, reflections. Reflections on the Eid. That's his topic. Reflections upon the Eid. 4 p.m. It'll be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. And then you have my class at 6 on Walla Well Better. I'll put that stuff out too. And then we have the new class, Prohibited Imitations, inshallah. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. Inshallah, we'll be here tomorrow. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Everybody have a good night, and the Zoom room is open. Assalamu alaikum.